former Trump DHS Deputy Assistant Secretary and former federal prosecutor, Jonathan Fahey. Jonathan, it's good to have you back on. What do you make of this flip-flop by Senator Van Hollen here?
It's really, I would say it's amazing, but it really is just the Democrats' position on this. The most important thing they want to have is open borders. And it's funny, he was talking about MS-13, in 2017? And it's funny, when he went down to El Salvador, the one question he didn't ask him was, are you a member of MS-13? And he said something like, after the fact, well, I knew what the answer would be, which I don't know what he thought he knew what the answer would be. But clearly the Democrats know he's an MS-13 member, don't care, and think he should come back to the United States, and they are trying to hide what actually happened, which he was ordered deported by a court. He appealed and was also ordered deported again. Again, the only issue was he couldn't be deported to El Salvador because of the dangerous conditions, because of the rival gang. If he wasn't in MS-13, he certainly wouldn't have to worry about a rival gang. But this sort of now this has become congressional Democrat El Salvador dinner theater at this point, with more of them going down there. It's just pure nonsense. They are fighting Donald Trump every step of the way. Everything he does to try to make our country safer, to deport illegal aliens, they try to stand in the way. The question should be asked to them is, who do you actually support deporting among the 20 million plus people that are here illegally?
Yeah, so you're saying, as other legal experts are saying, he already saw multiple judges. He had due process already. So this is a fight over what the U.S. Constitution says about due process. It uses the word person, not citizen, in the 5th and 14th Amendment about due process, Jonathan. I mean, the founding fathers used that word to be inclusive of women, but it's since been expanded to include corporations and illegal aliens. But politicians and commentators say this gives too many rights and constitutional protections that were meant for U.S. citizens and taxpayers to illegal aliens and undermines the rule of law. But the Supreme Court has upheld that. Where do you come down on that?
Well, it's interesting because usually when they're talking about due process in a criminal context, they're talking about people that are going to be incarcerated in the United States for crime. So they need to get certain processes, certain appeals. But just to remove somebody from the country, you don't need all sorts of process. In the immigration context, they get a court and then they can appeal to the Board of Immigration Appeals. So they get two chances to make their case. And these are people that came here illegally. That's certainly a lot of process, and probably more than you'd get in any other country. So, and even with the Kilmar Abrego case with the Supreme Court, they're ordering there's going to be process where people have to give notice and be identified as members of that gang. So there's plenty of process for illegal aliens, and this gentleman got it. The only issue is he was deported after being told they couldn't send him to El Salvador, but they certainly can deport him somewhere else, or they could reopen the case and say circumstances in El Salvador have changed and deport him back to El Salvador.
Yeah, I mean, if you can be deported under the U.S. law if you have criminal violations, if you're a public safety threat, or you cross illegally, that's it. Jonathan Fahey, thanks for being with us again.